What's up, fanboys and fangirls? Welcome back to another episode of TV Talk. Today we are going to be discussing the season finale of WandaVision. Full spoilers ahead, so buyer beware, watcher beware. You're not purchasing anything to watch this, so go watch that first if you haven't yet, and then come back and you'll have to let us know
Hang out with
what
us.
you think of this episode. Luke is below me. Tyler is over there, and they're here. They're gonna.
I don't know where over there is, but yes, I'm
You're in the
there.
bottom right. You're in the
Agreed.
bottom right corner.
Oh. Okay.
It's gonna be awkward if I looked the wrong way.
Which way?
I had to look both.
Luke, look to your left. See, now you're looking at Tyler. Tyler, look to your right.
And
Hey, Tyler.
hey,
All right, let's get
I don't
into
know.
this final episode.
technology's weird.
The series finale of WandaVision. What'd you guys think? Quick, first impressions off the top of your head. Go.
It was what I thought, and actually less, which was
Oh.
honestly kind of disappointing. But it was still good.
Yeah, there were a lot of there's a lot of hype, I think, going into this episode. So I've heard the disappointed comment quite a bit. But Tyler, your thoughts?
It was fine. I think it was a cool concept of a show that devolved into just another Marvel thing.
Yeah, I kind of fall. I'm probably a little more positive than you guys on it. When it comes to this season finale, like we said in our last episode about episode 8, it kind of feels like it started off really crazy, this really unique concept, and it's moved more and more closer to traditional MCU. And this was very traditional MCU material. Even with, the realization now that we have real magic in the world, which is a real, kind of that history has certainly changed the MCU, but it still feels very MCU. And even how they, visually show magic and stuff. I think they've established that with Wanda in the previous movies, so they kind of felt like they needed to keep with that. But that said, I think it ties up the series pretty neatly. I'm okay with it just kind of being a standalone series. I don't think we need like a season 2 of anything like this with these characters.
Yeah,
it's finished this story, and I'm excited certainly to see where we're going still. But yeah, I am kind of like, nah, all right, that was an all right show, and a good way to, kind of get me back into MCU land here before the movies start up again. So
yeah, it definitely, like you said, ties it all up, for what it needs to do. I agree. I don't think we need a season 2. I think limited series or whatever you want to call it, that's good enough. We'll get more of her story, I think, in Doctor Strange, so that'll be good.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of find out where she fits in the universe now with all the revelations of the season.
Yeah. And I mean, now she's actually like teaching herself magic too, and there's a lot of similar visual representation with that in that post-credit scene.
Yeah, her in the astral plane. And we've kind of, it's always been this like Scarlet Witch is like should be the strongest Avenger, right? And now we're seeing her do things that even Doctor Strange can't, which is be both present in her physical body and her astral form at the same time. Like even Doctor Strange, when he's like in his astral form, is like, I'm gonna take a nap,
Yeah.
So Although by the time Doctor Strange 2 comes out, he may be even more powerful yet still. So
Yeah.
He's building his own astral planes
Yeah.
at this point.
yeah.
I mean, he's eventually going to be the Sorcerer Supreme, which is not a very weak title.
No.
So
No, he's
It's all right.
yeah. It's got some clout. What did you think about the Vision Showdown?
Honestly, it was. I think it was actually my favorite part of the episode. I think overall the episode had some visual wonkiness.
Yeah.
But White Vision looked so cool to me,
Agreed.
and I liked how they kind of resolved their fight with like
Logic.
logic.
It was a
yeah.
very
like,
Vision
well,
moment.
I'm not real, and you died. So who's the real
Yeah.
Vision? And there's like, yeah, you got a point.
Yeah, it's very fitting for that character
Mhm.
to get his way out of that scenario with logic. I just thought that was really clever on their part. And I agree, Luke. I thought White Vision looked sick. Like I want to see more of White Vision just to see him on screen, because he definitely popped on screen just because of the design, and I thought that was cool. Also, his eyes were just wild looking.
Mhm.
Yeah. Did he get away?
That's what I understood.
I don't know. I think so.
But yeah, it's left pretty unclear. I do think.
I definitely.
Oh, go ahead.
I definitely thought Luke's theory was going to come true.
Yeah.
I definitely thought at one point he was going to reveal that he was Ultron, but
Hey, it could still happen, man.
yeah, it still could happen. You're absolutely right. It definitely could be a thing.
I just wanted to real quick comment. I totally agree with you guys on the design. Characters that are kind of all one color often don't look good, and he looked awesome. The production team, the art and makeup team did a fantastic job on that. Visual effects as well. Also, I loved, like you said, how it didn't end up just being a fist fight, like a Vision. I thought the way they started fighting was really cool. Them using their ability to go through each other and trap one another's arm inside another, and then but then it ended where I expected a Vision fight to end, which is in a library, them using their minds, right? And that was fantastic. I really, really liked that. Juxtaposed to that is the Agnes or Agatha versus Wanda fight. What did you guys think of that? Less excitement, I'm sensing.
I never know if somebody else is gonna talk, so I don't want to jump in.
Luke,
right
go
away.
first.
I like the concept of it too. Kind of how she used the runes to trick her, so that she couldn't use her magic. I liked that. However, it just looked so bad to me. It looked terrible. I thought, it looked like silly putty just being tossed through the sky. I thought it looked so bad, and the rest of the show has really looked pretty good. And when we were watching it, Tyler even said, "I think the budget ran out," which is
it's
really
it's weird that that's not where your budget starts, right?
The episode in its entirety I thought looked kind of wonky outside of White Vision. So I'd agree, Luke. I did think the fight was cool. I think if the visual effects were better, I think that fight is way, way more entertaining than it was. But the concept behind the fight, the idea that she's, throwing her little chaos balls at the barrier she's built to put these ruins there. I thought that was super clever, because I definitely did not think that was what was going on. I did think to myself, how is she
She's missing
so
a lot,
much?
right?
Like, what is happening? Like, she is like, because she'll drill her like 3 or 4 times and then she'll miss like 10 in a row. I'm like, what is going on? So then when that was revealed, I was like, oh man, that was clever. That was really cool. So I definitely wasn't expecting that, but yeah, I think overall the visual, I think Luke's word was wonkiness of the episode kind of,
It
I
takes
don't know,
away
kind of,
from it.
yeah, it definitely takes away from that fight.
And the other part with me with it is I'm just so mixed on Catherine Hahn's Agatha Agnes. I feel like sometimes she's pretty funny and or she's making a good point, but then it's just an absolute like cheese fest, and I feel like it doesn't mix well with what's going on in that part of the show.
Yeah.
Takes a lot of the emotion out of the scene.
Yeah, and then the other part with me is it's what I think of every time we're in a big superhero fight scene. And what does the villain start doing? They start monologuing. Every time. Every time. Thank you, Incredibles, for giving us that and showing us what every villain does in every movie. That's why I love
And now we can't help but notice it.
Yep. They pointed out a serious flaw in hero movies. The villain always has to talk.
Yeah.
Got to reveal their plans.
No, I would think, man, we're more in agreement than usual, I guess. Although I do seem to have come out of this episode a little more satisfied than you guys. But yeah, like I would agree that the fight was well choreographed. To say I think is how I want to say that. Like the flow of the fight felt good. The creating the runes, very clever. Again, like a way to beat the villain that's not just punch, punch, punch. Always appreciate that. I think, man, I just watched a different series with Catherine Hahn, and she blew me out of the water. So like to come into this final episode and see that, I would also agree, Luke, that like she's so good sometimes, and then she's so not good other times. And I think it's just, I think it's what she's given.
Yeah.
I feel like it's script and direction, because it's, and my guess is that they want to leave her around as a potential team up person in the future. And so they can't make her too evil, or it wouldn't make sense for them to bring her back in a positive way. But it does kind of take the gravity out of the situation when she just grovels.
Yeah.
Oh no, Wanda. Oh no. There at the end, type of thing.
She kind of feels like she might be the next. Hold on. I think Strange and Wanda will be way more at the forefront moving forward for the Avengers and what they're doing, and I could see her kind of being the Loki character and all of that. Like she's definitely a bad guy, but she'll also work with them to get what she wants because she's just really selfish. So I could definitely see her kind of slotting into that role, because anytime Loki was in anything, we never really got rid of him. We just trapped him somewhere else. You know what I mean? Just to bring him in when we needed him. And so I could definitely see Catherine Hahn's Agatha Harkness being that kind of character moving forward, especially if they're going to get more into this magic stuff and cosmic stuff moving forward.
Yeah, and I'd be totally cool with that. I think, again, like I said, I think she's a great actress, and you just give her something that's just a little better, and she'll be able to really, really run with it.
Yeah, I would agree.
Man, how do you feel about Hayward trying to shoot kids? That's not cool.
Hayward was terrible, man.
Yeah, that whole plot was just annoying.
We didn't see like any of it last episode, and
then they're like, hey, we're going to wrap this up in
real
3
quick.
minutes.
We're just going to have him drive in.
Yeah.
He's going to shoot, and then we're going to have Darcy come in and ram him with the ice cream truck or whatever. Like, oh.
Yeah, what did Darcy have? One line?
Yeah. Oof.
Enjoy prison.
Yeah, I would say that for all of those kind of secondary characters, outside of the post-credit scene, the mid-post-credit scene, like, I didn't feel like the last 2 episodes did them justice in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, and I mean, the other part with it, too, is Paul Bettany and Marvel they dig themselves into a hole with the promise of cameos.
Yeah, I felt so
Yeah.
bad. The
And
director had a comment. It was like, I know there's gonna be people who are disappointed about like, cause they're someone's always gonna be disappointed. And you could tell that he's just like, have to deal with these actors who say things, and I'm
yeah, and I mean, I guess we do it to ourselves
oh
too,
yeah,
because I mean, each of us was saying Doctor Strange is going to show up the entire
yeah,
season,
all season.
And he didn't, and I mean, I was fine with that, but I mean, you have Paul Bettany talking, and then every character's like, "Hey, can you come help us out with this?" And it's just some random astronomer
Yeah,
or whatever, and I guess she's a Skrull, so I guess there's that. But then like Jimmy Woo's like, "Hey, can you get here within the hour?" And it's just FBI
yeah.
agents. So if we might just do it to ourselves, or always expecting some crazy cameo to pop up. But
We may do that, but they have certainly set us up to expect those kind of things.
Yeah.
So when they don't
Yep.
deliver,
They
I do
definitely
feel like
have.
it's, you know, I'll take some blame, but I'm certainly not giving them a free pass. Like you got to understand when you
I'll say
promise
like 70-30.
when you say those kinds of things, you're setting us up for something. They have to know that at this point.
yeah,
So,
Yeah, I would say 70-30. The fault is on them.
yeah. But they gotta get that hype. I get that hype.
But Luke kind of touched on something I wanted to get to when he talked about the Skrulls and Monica Rambeau's story moving forward and where she fits in the MCU. Luke and I both were kind of like, oh, is she going to see Captain Marvel? No, it's a Skrull, and it looks like her role is just going to be part of Secret Invasion with Nick Fury. I actually really like that decision
yeah, me
a
too.
lot. Because I really liked her character, and so even though she wasn't given much, I was really curious to see where things would go with her, and to put her in Secret Invasion makes me really excited because I thought it was just going to be a Nick Fury show, and I was kind of like, I mean, sure, but it's not what I really want. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So getting Monica Rambeau into that show, and now knowing she has powers that are really cool visually, I'm excited to see where that goes. But I'm also curious about her power because it looks like she can kind of see where power is
Uh,
or where it's
Something to
coming
do
from,
with
and so it makes me
electricity
wonder if
or
she can see the Skrulls.
oh.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Like, is she able to? And Luke and I did not talk about that, so that's kind of awesome that we're on the same wavelength. But I think her role in that will be identifying who's a
Potential
Skrull and who's not,
potential
and
enemies.
yeah, like when she hones her powers a little bit more, she'll be able to see through all the guys and stuff. So that'll be awesome.
Yep, that's gonna be really cool, and it's gonna be super crazy when all of a sudden she freaks out when she sees an Avenger,
Oh.
and she's just like, "That is not insert Avenger name.
You are not Thor." Yeah.
You are not Thor. You are not Captain America. Or did they bring back Captain America? You are not the Winter Soldier. You're a Skrull. Or
That would be really cool if they did bring back Captain America, though. It would screw it with
I
everybody.
would mess with everyone.
yeah,
That would be a pretty awesome cameo moment, I think.
Look at us, the 30%. We're getting started now.
Well, we're digging the hole, baby. Let's go.
And I'll never
Just shovel the dirt on top of it.
Right. I'm not digging. Digging my own grave.
Hey,
I'm in the hole.
Said it before. Marvel gave us the shovel.
Yeah.
So we're good.
They gave us a shovel and they're like, here's a field with 100 X's in it. We're like, all right, let's go, baby. Oh gosh. All right. But back to WandaVision.
Is Monica a mutant?
No. We've managed to completely eradicate any potential hope that mutants were coming back in the show in any way.
I don't think they would have her be the first one. The first one that will show up will be an iconic figurehead, probably like Professor X,
yeah,
Magneto.
Xavier or Magneto or yeah. I think you're probably right because we.
Do you think she'll fit into the X-Men in the future?
Monica, no.
Or do you think she just stays
No,
completely
I think
separate
she's
from all
separate.
that? Okay.
Because the other weird realization we got here is that Pietro was not the 20th Century Fox X-Men. He was Ralph. He was just a guy.
He was a dick
He's
joke.
Ralph
He
Boner.
was. He was the. Honestly, I like the red herring. I'm totally fine with it. Even if it did screw up with some of our thoughts and predictions, because it doesn't end up limiting the way that they can do things with the X-Men in the future. So I'm fine with it, with him not being any real version of Pietro, and it just being an intentional casting choice on Marvel's part, to make us think that something was
Ralph Boner
was happening. Honestly, I think it probably strengthens the middle section of the show upon first viewing, because it does give you something to really think about while there's not a lot of other things happening. You know, those like episodes 4, 5, and 6 is when we really get the half and half storylines. You know, half of it's in the hex, half of it's out of the hex, and the stuff in the hex isn't really all that interesting, except a lot of the time we're curious about Pietro and what he's up to. And so I think upon at least first viewing, it really works. Going back and watching this in a year, will I feel the same way? Probably not. I'll probably be like, okay, yeah. But that's
I know who you are.
That's kind of the double-edged sword when it comes to reveals like that. Is that it's most enjoyable the first time, and it gets less enjoyable typically time after time.
Yeah, I'm okay with him not being Quicksilver, not being the X-Men Peter version, but it also feels like a giant middle finger to bring him over, give him the exact same X-Men look, give him the powers, all of that stuff. You know, it was heavily rumored we were going to have X-Men start showing up throughout these things, and then he's just like Luke said, a dick joke. It's kind of, I don't know, maybe a middle finger's too strong. It's just kind of, to me, it's kind of lame.
It just reminded me of like Nick Fury's eye to me.
Yeah. That's a great example, actually. That's a great example. It's like, it's this thing that and again, part of it is, especially for me, I'm building this thing up in my head that he's going to be, the first X-Men to cross over, because if any X-Men from that universe outside of Fassbender should cross over, it's him. Everybody loves that character. So it was kind of, it just, I don't know, it just kind of sucks. Like, I really wanted it to be him, and I thought it would be really interesting to see how that impacted the MCU, bringing somebody from a different universe, essentially, over to this franchise. But I thought he did great with he played the same character with a different name. And again, it just further frustrates me, is like, they're like, hey, we want you to play Peter Maximoff from Days of Future Past, but you're going to be a guy named Ronald Boner instead, and really you don't exist.
My guess for an actor, though, is that,
well, for him it's money.
But I think my guess, I haven't read any interviews or listened to anything, but for most people that would be like this is the cherry on top. I think he probably expects his role as Quicksilver to be done, especially with the acquisition.
Like, it's just another
This is just another chance for him to get to play around on a goofy TV show for 2 weeks. Like, that's probably a ball.
That's
versus
true.
It being like some little like meh.
Here's a 3-month feature film shoot that I know is my last job. I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Especially coming off of
that's fair.
Whatever that last movie, Dark Phoenix.
Boo.
Not him in that, but just that. Yeah, coming off of that experience, I'm sure something like this was probably a lot of. I would imagine it's a lot of fun. Again, I that's totally unconfirmed, but
I think anything Evan Peters does, he has a ton of fun
He
with.
does seem to have that kind of personality where he's gonna
He
enjoy
kind
himself.
of, yeah, he's one of those actors I think just loves
Yeah.
acting. Like it's I know I made the joke it's money for him, but like he really does seem to just love it. He made a movie for Movie Pass.
That's right.
So he wasn't getting paid. Also, that movie's fantastic.
Oh god.
But yeah, no, I wish he would have been Peter Maximoff. But
It
that's
would
okay.
be fun.
It's
I think we
it's
can
not
all
ruled
agree
out.
that it would be fun to see him as Peter Maximoff more, right? Like
Reprise that
it's
role.
unlikely
Yeah.
at this point, but it would be fun. He's
Yeah,
good
I don't
character.
think I don't think Quicksilver will be in the future
No.
plans.
I don't think so either. Do we want to talk about real quick any future predictions? We're 0 for 100 so far on this series. So are we
Only 100?
0 for 350? Anything going into phase?
Hey, we have to keep trying.
Phase 4? Yeah, here's the thing. We shoot enough baskets, we're gonna make one of them, right? So,
yeah.
Any future predictions?
I have future questions more so than predictions.
Yes. Well, lead with that then, sir.
I think Luke was going to make a prediction though. I'll let him go.
No, you can go ahead. Go for it.
So my question is with what we know about magic now and how it is definitely an expanding force within the MCU. How do we think that impacts the choice of villain for the overarching story, right? Like it was Thanos for so long. Who do we think? What does this make us think it will be? And will Guardians 3 be the one to reveal it again? I guess not again. Avengers revealed it the first time.
But Guardians is the one that really gave him something to do. I mean, again, he was just kind of sitting in a chair, but it wasn't a one-line thing. It was you got to see motivation in Guardian.
I guess as of main villain, I don't think it will be revealed in Guardians. I don't think it's going to be a cosmic villain. I think it's going to be Doctor Doom. He's human and he's of Earth. He's extremely powerful and he is a sorcerer. So it kind of works into this magic area that both Scarlet Witch and Doctor Strange will kind of take part in. So I could see him being an actual major player. As long as the Fantastic Four does not just completely botch him for like the fourth straight time.
I think making him a Avenger-sized villain is a good way to not botch him, because I think in past iterations we've seen him so like tame compared to what he could be, so that it can just be the Fantastic Four's first fight against someone. That
he's a genius, a sorcerer, and he's a ruler of a country, for crying out loud. And he's been always been just some dude who works at the Baxter Building with the Fantastic Four in each iteration. He's been so dumbed down, and it's like almost insulting to everything about him.
I can see that for sure.
My prediction, though, and I feel like a lot of people are kind of predicting this more for Scarlet Witch and Dr. Vision, with her kind of embracing chaos magic. And I'm going to be honest, I'm going to totally butcher this. I don't know how to say his name. Hold on. Let me just look up a pronunciation. Don't fail me, Google. Chthon.
Oh, the one who's kind of behind the book of Darkhold.
He's behind the book of Darkhold.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he's going to be the next villain for Scarlet Witch. I feel like that's kind of the obvious forward path there.
Yeah.
And I'm totally fine with it.
Yeah.
Do you think they get another series for her, or do you think she gets a movie?
I think it'll just be part of the Doctor Strange movie. I think.
My guess is that my guess is they'll still wait to see how she does in Multiverse of Madness. Not how she does, how she's received, how well that goes, and then they'll maybe evaluate whether or not she gets a full-blown movie or if they break that out into another series. Would be my guess, because I do think they have enough. They have enough loose ends that you could do a whole another movie with her as a lead and have that be interesting. I think if they do that, they, maybe they go with someone, a smaller villain for that role, and then build up to the Chitholo character.
Nice.
as a more, Avengers team up.
His name has one vowel.
It's too many consonants.
I don't know
too
what
many.
How do you spell it?
DHTHON.
DHTHON? Oh, CH.
DHTHON. That's not a word. But
yeah, that's like,
he is a demon, so he's got to make things complicated.
It's like word vomit.
What are your future predictions for White Vision or Vision? I don't know. I mean, he's more Vision now than he was, but kind of like we discovered in the episode, he's not really Vision, but
he's gonna join the Avengers.
No.
That's it. That's my prediction.
Do you think he comes back around to becoming more a traditional Vision as we know him from Phase 3, or is he forever going to be kind of this different Vision?
I think he's going to be kind of different, and my hope would be I really do want them to bring back Ultron. I think that'd be really cool.
He's like infiltrating the Avengers.
Yeah. Like the whole point of, and Brainiac did this too, and Ultron does it too. You can never completely destroy him because there's always a remnant of him, like downloaded on the internet. Like I think that's such a cool thing to do, and I think it'd be a really cool surprise. And I feel like everybody would kind of just trust Vision, unfortunately.
Because he's the last living piece of Tony.
He's the last piece of Tony. He's the last piece of Jarvis. He's the last piece of Vision. So I mean, I think that'd be really cool. I don't know if that's what the whole Marvel fandom would want or not, or if they just would want new things, which I will not turn away new things. But I think that would be cool.
I think the Ultron route would be my favorite decision with that character. I just think, not knowing much about Ultron, but knowing that he's essentially very similar to Brainiac, I think that would just be cool. Plus, the internet is so powerful in today's world, like it makes too much sense not to bring him back as a villain moving forward. But I think this is my I'm hitting this home run to the moon right here. This is going to be the weirdest and most it's going to get shot down so quick. But I don't actually think this. I'm just having fun here. This is Ray as a clone theory, level of theory. I think he takes the role of the Silver Surfer in the MCU moving forward.
Oh.
Now I know they'll definitely do the Silver Surfer, and that's the problem. But just have him kind of play that role where he's kind of just all over the place. He's good, he's bad, he's whatever he needs to be.
Are you saying like a Silver Surfer role, or you think he will be the actual Silver Surfer?
I think he'll be the actual Silver Surfer.
Oh my gosh.
They won't do it, but I think that would just be like just ridiculous.
Oh my gosh, I would lose my mind.
That'd be dope. I'm down. I'm here for this. I like this theory.
Just like he learns that because
No.
he gripped the fact that he's not Vision. He's gripped the fact that he's not Vision. I'm gonna layer this thing on. I know Luke was gonna hate this theory. I was so excited to say
I'm
it.
sorry, Tyler. I hate it. It ruins everything that Galactus.
It would ruin everything. No, I know, and that's why I
Oh
think
my
it's
gosh.
hilarious. But like he's decided, like, yeah, you're right. I'm not Vision, and so he's like, I'm gonna take up a new moniker and becomes the Silver Surfer.
Ugh.
Luke would have a meltdown if they did that, and it would be so funny to watch.
Yeah.
Love you, Luke.
It won't happen, but I love it.
Thank goodness that won't happen. I like the bold theory though, Tyler. I'll give you that.
Yeah, I really just don't have any predictions, so I just started thinking, like, what would be the most ridiculous idea?
That's fair.
Hey, I mean,
that was
swing
it.
hard and swing all the way through. So.
That's right.
What
you never know what can happen.
In the last post-credit scene, we get a little tease with Wanda hearing her kids, her boys, the twins, yelling for help. Is that in her mind? Is she searching the multiverse for them? What's going on there, you think?
She's gonna go kidnap some more people?
Look, I
thought we accomplished.
If we've got a infinite, this is going down the rabbit hole of like a Rick and Morty thing. If there's infinite versions of themselves, there has to be a version where her and Vision did get together, had kids, had these twins, and they have died. And so she can go rescue them and bring them back to our dimension.
But then that completely undermines everything we just accomplished for her character.
No.
Kidnapping people is bad, Wanda. Don't do it again.
He's rescuing them. Maybe they're in danger.
Maybe they don't want to be rescued.
They're yelling for help. So
maybe not to her. Maybe they're saying, "Help, get the cat out of the tree." She's hearing what she wants to hear.
I'll just say that is a plot line in Voltron that the villain does.
Oh, so Wanda is still the villain, Luke, is what I'm hearing.
Well, it's too late now.
Oh gosh. All right. So the boys coming back.
I can't do the back and forth that if they keep going back and forth with her, it's going to be super irritating.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens. I do think I don't feel like this show really left me with the idea that she's as honorable as like Cap ever was, right? Like even like even Tony to some degree was always still a bit selfish, even in his moments of sacrifice, right? Like up until Endgame, right? Like in that one, he's willing to die. But you know, even in Endgame, he's like, I will not risk my family. Like I'm not gonna lose that. And so I think that Marvel has done a fairly good job of making characters that are both noble but also realistic in the sense that most of us would also say, I'll do anything for my family. And Wanda's family's all been taken away from her multiple times now. And so...
Well, maybe she shouldn't create a fake family in her head.
But there was the line, I did appreciate the line in this episode where, you know, she said, the difference between you and me is that you did this on purpose. And she understands through self-reflection that she didn't do it on purpose, and she ultimately is willing to let go of that.
Yeah, speaking of that letting go, because before we close this thing, we probably need to talk about that. She has to say bye to Vision. Because that is going to be a big talking point. I'll just say for me, it doesn't really work. In any form of media, I always find like the love relationship with a robot, with an android, it just doesn't work for me. Because the feelings usually are often so one-sided that it just, I don't know, for some reason it doesn't click. And like for Vision to cry at the end. I'm like, oh, okay, I guess. It's just whatever she wanted him to be, and so I'm like, okay, well, yeah, he's definitely not real. So cool, I guess. I don't know. Did that work for you guys? Because I definitely did not feel a pinch in my chest
I
at all.
wasn't like gonna cry about it. I
thought the scene with the kids was
the
better.
scene with the kids was really good, and maybe that's it. Is that scene was good enough, so good, or so much better that the emotional stakes then were just lowered so much that it didn't really. I thought the lines were good. I thought the delivery was good, but I think you're right, Tyler. To a certain degree, it was inevitable to a point where it was less emotionally impactful. But I still think they acted the crap out of it. I mean, good job, good performances,
sure.
but just not as. The first time they had to say goodbye was so emotional in that how that had to happen, and this one, I think, just less so. It's hard to describe.
It was their choice.
Yeah,
it was their choice this time.
Yeah, I think I almost would have. I almost
War.
would have preferred them just, had they like sat down on the couch and like put their arms kind of around each other, and then like turn on the TV. And then it hits, the thing hits them. And there's not like, and it's just this sense of peace versus this sense of sadness. And not that sadness shouldn't be a part of that. But I would agree that it just didn't quite work as well for me.
Yep, I'm the same. And plus, the other part with it for me is I've watched Vision die and they've said goodbye like 5 times now. It was kind of like, yeah, we've been here.
Well, he even has the line. He's like, I was a program, then I became, an android, then I became a thought. What will I be next? Like he's aware that
he's a white robot.
He's like, basically, I'll never die, so I'll see you soon. Like, it's just really, I don't know. Luke, you make a good point. We've seen him die so many times that it's like,
it's the same with Loki. You watch Loki die all the time, and you're just like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and then the last thing I have is Scarlet Witch's new design is super dope. I love it. I think it looks really good. I do think that if she's in costume and nobody else is, she'll look like a Power Ranger villain. But as long as everybody else is in their costumes, I think it looks incredible.
Yeah. I love that new outfit. Really well done. So yeah.
Everybody's got nanotech, man. They just snap that stuff on now.
Thankfully, the next thing she's going to be in is Doctor Strange, and he's kind of always in his sorcerer
in his robes or whatever. Yeah. In his warlock robes. I do. You kind of made the joke about nanotech, but I did appreciate how like you could see like the magic veins forming it. It is kind of like we don't have to go into the closet or the phone booth and change real quick.
Yeah.
But I think for this character that works really well. That she can just be like snap, and she's in her queen gear.
It looks sick. I'm a big fan of the design for sure.
Agreed. All right, is that it? We've done it. We've successfully reviewed an entire season of a show.
Look at us. Who'd
have
thought, huh? Not me.
We will be starting Falcon and the Winter Soldier here in a couple weeks. So it'll be the same format, typically shorter episodes than this, but it was the season finale, so it made sense to really discuss things.
Yep. I'm ready for that show. I'm ready for some street level action.
Yep. If you're looking for more content from What the Fanboy, we do a podcast every week. We live stream that recording, or we live stream us recording it Monday nights at 8 p.m. Central Time over on Twitch, twitch.tv/whatthefanboy. And if you haven't listened to the podcast or you don't want to watch it, but you just want to listen to it in your headphones, you can go over to whatthefanboy.com and find all the links there. No matter what platform you listen to it on, you should be able to find those links over there. And until, I guess we won't see you next week on TV Talk, but in 2 weeks we'll see you on TV Talk. Hopefully next week we'll see you over on Twitch for the live show. So until then, we'll see you.